Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hopefully I won't break something here. I'm going to show you guys how to carefully take apart the controllers on a Model 1 Intellivision here, and this is also to help a guy out that's having problems with his. I don't know how far he went on taking it apart to clean it, if he did it completely or just a little bit, but right off the bat, the one thing you want to be really careful with these, and pretty much on everything on these controllers, including the wires, is once you open them up, you're going to have those layers of plastic that have all the electronics printed on them for the circuitry, for your directional pad, fire buttons, and everything. Be very careful when you separate that stuff. As in one of the systems that I've saved for parts, and I'm going to be treating this like a baby because this one works beautifully. I'm just giving it just a little once over with my cleaner. But just be really careful because that stuff can get brittle. As in, this one is from 1978 or 79. I can't remember. Gotta look at the bottom of it. But it's one of the original Intellivision systems, so just the age of it, man, that stuff could be brittle to where if you give it too much of a flex or bend it, man, you can crack it. And because it's got the circuitry printed on it and it's flexible, there goes your controller. And if you got one to where that stuff's gotten brittle and has cracked just from sitting around or just plain shot to hell, just to say yes you can to something that I've heard some, mostly gaming sites that have had these for sale, saying that no, you can't. You can replace the controllers on this, as in they are not hardwired into the motherboard. It's just more tedious. It's not like the Intellivision 2 where they made it like all the other old school systems to where the controllers just outright unplug like you normally would on an Atari or whatever. This one you have to open it up and take some parts off, which I'm going to do that in the next video and show you what to remove. These are just plugged into the motherboard via a very small plug, and on work messing with these things, as in the parts system, don't do that, as in unplug them unless you are definitely going to replace it or it's the last resort on trying to figure out what's wrong, because pretty much got wires hanging off of it, and if you grab it wrong or your fingers slip and hit them wires, you're guaranteed to break it. So I've already taken the screws out of one of the controllers here. Just got 4 screws, and then you flip it right side up. So I'll put this on pause so I can move the camera and mind the shakiness of the camera. I do not have a tripod. I'm just using a webcam here. So I'll try and show you as best I can. And if it starts kind of adjusting in and out on the brightness, that's because I got it on automatic, so I don't have to keep screwing with it. Oh, and I wanted to show you guys this stuff. This is what I use for electronics. It is kind of the electrician's version of WD-40, but what's cool about this stuff is you give it a nice little spritz, same as WD-40, you get the nice straw there. And one thing I really like this stuff for is if I have a system like this or an Atari or Sega or whatever, and I'm having problems with it loading up the games, as in it's that dirty, spray the inside of the pin connector with this, as in stick it in the cartridge slot and give it a nice spray. It usually will clean it on the first try. And because it's for electronics, the stuff dries almost instantaneously unless you just overdo it. Which, just let it set for about a minute and it will dry up. And also, don't get it on your hands and don't breathe it. You don't want to turn yourself into Beavis, and what it does to your hands, because it dries so fast, it will pull the moisture out of your skin and you'll just have dry spots where the stuff hit, which you might want to have some lotion next by. We put the lotion on the hands to make the skin soft and supple, you know. Anyways, really good stuff. Not cheap though. It's about $9 for a standard size spray paint can size, and that I got over at got it at Home Depot. I think I tried True Value or Ace Hardware first here in town, and they wanted about $3 more for the same size can. And you can find a smaller can of this stuff, but don't bother with that. Look for the big size. If they don't have it, go someplace else, because a little can of this stuff's not going to last you. You get this, and if you're just doing the little spritz of it and not going crazy with it, this stuff will last you for years. As in, I've been avoiding getting it because I had a full can and it was left over from the 80s, as in it's been around a while, and somebody had taken off that part of it, and it was incompatible with anything that I could find, spray paint, whatever, bug spray, anything. So I finally threw it away and broke down and bought a new can. So flip this over here. There's the screw holes, 2 on top, 2 almost at the bottom. Just flip it over, lift this straight off, have it on someplace where you're not going to drop something on the floor, as in that's just resting on a spring in there. Set that aside, set your disc aside, your spring, and also don't have it tilted, as in, as you can see, there is a white washer in there. And first off the bat, man, I'm doing this to help somebody out. I don't know how far they did on cleaning these, but it don't take much to make one of these screw up if you live in an area where there's a lot of dust, like Arizona. But as you can see, it is layers of plastic here, which is pretty damn thin. Be very careful when you do this. But basically the top piece has printed circuitry on it, and then you got a piece in the middle that's just to separate it, and then the bottom piece has printed circuitry. And I'm thinking maybe his problem that he's having is this has gotten stuck together just from sitting around not being played, as in old system from the late 70s, and it's gotten to the point to where it is just permanently sticking, as in he's having trouble with it going in one direction. And then he's also having trouble with the keypad here. So to start removing this stuff, first off, carefully, don't put a lot of force on that, just hold it down so you won't pull it off. Get your fingers under the side fire buttons. That's just a little separate rubber piece, and gradually ease them out of there. And I'm just saying, it starts lifting all this stuff out right away. Set those to the side. It's only doing this to me because I've already taken it apart once. Had to practice because I usually don't mess with these if they're working. They are very, very touchy. But a kick-ass game system. This is what I grew up with. Anyways, this first layer, it's got your keypad here. That is a separate piece, so carefully lift that out of there. And really, it looks like that's got metal contact, but that's not the part that's making contact. That's just painted on there to give it that nice gold color. So set that aside. You've got another sheet here which does have your contacts. Oh wait, nope, I'm wrong. This is a protective sheet. So take that off. And if it's dirty and still has enough flex in it, just give it a wipe down with a wet cloth and then set it aside. And basically, this is your sheet here, and let's see here. Yeah, like this one. I don't know if you guys can see, but anyways, I could see that there is a little bit of dirt between the contacts where the fire buttons are. The fire buttons weren't working good on that side, but everything else doesn't look too bad. And this is where you want to be really, really careful. Because basically this is all folded together, and basically I'm lifting up with one finger. You do not want to force it to bend even where it's folded, because of the age, you can have this stuff crack, and once it cracks, as you can see, the circuitry on it folds over to the next sheet, as in it's just folded up. All you need to do is have that crack and you are screwed. Basically, then you're having to look for a replacement controller. Yeah, it don't look bad at all. So, dude, if you're watching, man, I recommend do what I'm doing. Just carefully take this out, and it just lifts out of there once you've removed the buttons and stuff and those two top layers. And just, if you got a place where you can pick this stuff up, give everything a nice spritz. I'm not going to do it yet. Don't have enough hands. But it's basically what I do is just give all that a shot of the CRC cleaner and then let it dry off. And then fold it up, and then it can get tedious if it decides not to work the first time, and just keep cleaning it. I recommend don't screw it all together. Get some rubber bands and just put it all back together. Put a couple rubber bands around the controller. Hook up your system, pop in the game, and see if it works. And if it doesn't, just keep repeating until you can get that stuff. Otherwise, it may be that this thing is shot. And on replacing this part, very seldom do I see them, but if you guys have ever gotten stuff off eBay, I have seen these inserts on eBay. And all I can say, man, don't just impulse buy it. Have the person send you a nice big picture of this, hopefully, so you can see a nice close-up picture of it and hopefully be able to spot any cracks. Because everybody knows eBay that's used eBay, and they will say everything is in good shape. And because of the age of this, they could be selling one that's jacked up, and you'll just be wasting money. And on pricing, I cannot remember how much I saw it for last time. And sometimes somebody will have one of these that has been taken apart. As in, what's nice with these old systems, if you get one and it does not power up at all, don't just give up on it. Get on eBay or just start hunting around on game sites that sell retro stuff and see if they have parts. Because the power supply, which basically the cord sticks out right about there, and it's just got a power brick in there that plugs right into the motherboard. So you can just unplug that power brick or whatever and replace that whole piece. And I have seen those on eBay too, to where it's the whole little power supply, and you just plug in the new one and you're set to go. On other parts, don't know. That's pretty much all I've seen is controller parts and the power supply. Sometimes you'll see somebody selling maybe the power and reset buttons. Other than that, be pure luck to find anything else. There was somebody a while back, and I'm thinking they just sold them all. I haven't seen them on for a while on eBay, but there was somebody that had just the shells. If you get an Intellivision and the shell is all just tore up, scratched up, or whatever, to where you can buy that. And then if you got a system that looks like crap but still works, you can gut it and basically have yourself a replacement shell. Same thing with Atari systems. I'll find a lot of people with Ataris that didn't work, but they still looked good, so they just gut the inside of it and sell the shell of the system. So anyways, that's that part there. Now if you got ones to where the cord is shot, and I'm almost wondering, because you can see there, the reason that's coming in blurry is that it's really fine wire. I'm almost wondering if you may have a break in the wire too on this guy's system. And on that, same thing, be really careful. First thing you want to do is get a better grip on this. This piece here, carefully, and I mean really, really careful, get that out of there. And then basically this piece here that's got the little kind of springy type things there that are metal. I don't think this has been taken out in a while. Anyways, I believe that just lifts out of there. Where's this one clipped in? I'm not going to take it out because I don't want to break the wire, but anyways. Might use like needle nose pliers. Just make sure you don't accidentally bend any of those, and just get a nice grip, and that should just ease right out of there, because I did remove the cord on one of them. So pretty much everything on these can be replaced. And I say the fire buttons, man, all it is just same as the disc there. It's just rubber buttons that are hitting on those, making this stuff make contact. So, going to get all this put back together on the controllers, and then I will show you guys what the inside of the system looks like and where everything plugs in if you got to replace the entire controller or the power supply. So, hopefully this showed the guy enough stuff on his system that's messed up, and anybody else that may have a system that's messed up, because really I haven't had to repair much on these things other than the RF jacks, which on the RF jack I'll show you what I did on this one, which was extreme. And another one, I just went to Radio Shack and bought a little RF jack that was on a thing and just totally outright replaced it. This one I went crazy on because it was really messed up bad, but only part broken. And that, basically, it's from somebody twisting the cord, and then it just breaks the little wire that's the center contact for the RF, and then got to just swap it out with something new. So later, everybody. Feel free to comment as usual. On to the next vid.